Avenged Sevenfold have confirmed that the R.E.V, James Sullivan, the drummer for the band, has died at the age of 28. Calls to the coroner's office and the Orange County Sheriff's Office were not returned at press time, but initial reports say that foul play was not involved. Certain outlets reporting his death said he died from natural causes. Toxicology may be pending, but with recent celebrity death reports, natural causes has become an in vogue, wide-ranging, and non-definitive classification. His bandmates Matt Shadow, Zachy Vengeance, Sinister Gates, and Johnny Christ issued a statement saying, quote, "It is with great sadness and heavy hearts that we tell you of the passing today of Jimmy the Rev Sullivan. Jimmy was not only one of the world's best drummers, but more importantly, he was our best friend and brother. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Jimmy's family, and we hope that you will respect their privacy during this difficult time. Jimmy, you are forever in our hearts. We love you." End quote. The Rev shared as much in a previous interview where he has also admitted that people change every few years.
You become a different person. Every 2 years of your life, you're a little bit different of a person, you know, no matter who you are. And we just roll with that.
Avenged Sevenfold was in the writing stages and early production stages for the follow-up to 2007's self-titled record. We'll have more on this as it breaks.
You just watched a news report that came out a few days after James Owen Sullivan died, better known as the Rev. The Rev died on December 28, 2011, and today happens to be that 11th-year anniversary, and I wanted to commemorate the Rev by making a few videos about him, and this happens to be part 2 out of 3, How the Rev Truly Died. This video also kickstarts this brand new series I'm coming out with called Music Theory, where I come up with theories about the music we know and love. Anyway, there are so many theories about how the Rev really died, but I truly believe one that we will get into later in this video. Some of you already may know, but it still really surprises me how many people don't know, whether you're a true Avenged Sevenfold fan or not. I just thought I'd bring some light on this situation because it's been 11 years since the Rev passed away. And ever since I did a school project last year, it just amazed me, and I've been wanting to know more and more and more about how the Rev really died. And I'm a huge fan of Avenged Sevenfold, and the Rev, he really influences the way I play, and I think he was one of the greatest songwriters for Avenged Sevenfold. And I don't mean any disrespect with this video. I just want people to know the real truth, because there are just some theories out there that don't make any sense, and I want to let you guys know the real way the Rev died. So let's get right into the first theory, which is just a joke for laughs and giggles. This is the theory that the Rev went into the woods, never to come back, and he will come back being the ultimate knife master.
Best quote I've ever heard in my life is, "One day, dude, I'm just gonna get off the bus and I'm gonna run into the woods and I'm never gonna come back. And when I come back, I'm gonna be the knife master. And I'm never gonna come back. And when I come back, I'm only playing one song and I'm not coming out for 10 years. And when I come back, I'm bringing out Avenged Sevenfold."
Okay. I know this was a joke, but it really makes you think, is there some meaning to this? Like, what if Jimmy wasn't lying, you know? What if he's gonna come back one day and just be the ultimate knife master? I'm sorry, because it has no meaning to it whatsoever. If you listen closely, the last thing the Rev said in that video was, "I will come back in 10 years. No, I'm sorry. I am not coming back for 10 years. And when I come back, I will bring out Avenged Sevenfold." So when I hear this, I think 10 years after he's gone. He died in 2009, which means that he would come back in 2019, but it's 2020 and about to be 2021. So as much as I wish this were true, it's not. I absolutely love the Rev, and we all know we wish this were reality, but it's sadly not. And the Rev was truly one of the greatest songwriters for the band, and he was one of the founders. There's just one thing I hate about this theory, and I'm going to go on through a little rant. The entire album of Nightmare is dedicated to the Rev, and there's maybe only like 2 songs on there that aren't dedicated to Rev. And when people comment this theory on videos like Fiction or So Far Away, it just really makes me feel like hate towards them for some reason. I don't know. I feel like it's super disrespectful, and I don't really like when people do that. I feel like that was a joke, and that was just one of those times where Jimmy was just being really funny. But when people say that and do that and on things that are supposed to be emotional, it really makes me lose a lot of respect for them, and it really questions, are they a true Avenged Sevenfold fan? Like, if you're one of those people, I'm sorry, but I kind of lost respect for you. I don't think that you should comment that. I mean, it's a joke. You can say it on any other video, but that's kind of disrespectful, I think, if you said that on Fiction and songs that are written about him and about his death. Anyway, that's my rant for today, you guys. Let's move on. Okay, so moving on to the second theory. This is by far the most popular theory, and there is a little part of me that says this could be true, but ultimately I really don't think. This theory says that the Rev overdosed on oxycodone, oxymorphine, diazepam, nordiazepam, and alcohol. I totally screwed up those pronunciations. Let's actually listen to what it really was.
Oxycodone,
oxymorphone, diazepam,
nordiazepam.
Alright, yeah, I totally screwed up those pronunciations. This is totally true, okay? The autopsy does not lie, but that's not the full story, okay? Now, this theory, that's literally all the theory is. So, the problem with this theory is that we come up with our own story of how the Rev died. Now, what if I told you a 28-year-old who was a musician passed away because he overdosed on a bunch of drugs and he had alcohol while he was taking those drugs. He was consuming alcohol. That puts a horrible image into anyone's mind. And it just makes the person look really, really bad. It puts a really, really bad taste in your mouth, and more importantly, it gives you a bad impression and a bad image on that person. Now, I do feel really bad for the Rev, because his death kind of falls into that stereotype of, you know, musicians being drug addicts and, like, being stupid and abusing drugs. And this most especially comes with rock and rap, like a lot of popular music today, pop and metal. I find that this stereotype, and it makes you think they don't care about their lives, and that's totally not true. The problem I really have with this theory, and the thing is, if you googled how the Rev died and just went on to the, like, you scroll down and people made websites, everything will come up different. And I found that out when I was doing my project. The problem I have most with this theory is that people just don't do this research. Watch this clip of a YouTuber who reacted to how the Rev really died.
We gotta talk about it, man. First, R.I.P. to the Rev. Some of y'all gonna get real offended, real upset about this. Gibbs, shh, be quiet. I gotta speak to the people. Avenged Sevenfold drummer Jimmy the Rev Sullivan died on December 28th, 2009 from an accidental overdose of prescription drugs and alcohol. Orange County Deputy Coroner Mitchell Segal, the coroner told Rolling Stone that, and that's what happened. But accidental overdose of prescription drugs. Now, he got those from the doctor for whatever he was going through. Like, none of us are perfect. We all have trials, tribulations. We all get sick. We all experience different stages in life. But the alcohol part, throw that on top of there, because God, he didn't make him get drunk. He might not have got drunk. He didn't make him pick up that alcohol knowing he was on prescription drugs. It may have been an accident, but you didn't accidentally pick up that alcohol. You know what I'm saying? There's more evidence that Jesus was real and that God created all things than anything else. Like, period. Like, please show me the counterpart. Please show me an argument against it that is overwhelming as much as the proof for it. But Either way, man, at some point, y'all got to take personal responsibility. Now, at some point, you have to pay the piper, man. You have to face the mistakes that you've made. You have to confess your sins, and you have to repent and flip the script on them. Or else you're just going to keep going through those same trials, spiraling out of control, going down into the abyss. Now, what happened to the Rev, he wasn't fortunate enough to be able to flip the script. He died. You know what I'm saying? Like, as tragic as that is, he made steps along the way to where ultimately he ended up dead. Now, he left a legacy while he was here, but ultimately he died way too soon because of mistakes that he personally chose to make. God didn't make him do that.
Now, I know he didn't know, but he kind of just blamed the Rev for the way he died, and that's kind of the Rev's fault, but also that's not really the case. This just proves that you should really do your own research before you want to talk about something and before you want to have such a strong opinion on it, just like he did. Now, I'm going to totally be honest. I love his channel. I love his reactions. They're hilarious. Go check them out. But that was just one mistake, and there are so many people who have called him out for it, and honestly, I just feel so bad. But he kind of deserved it. You didn't do your research. But that's alright. So, this leads me to my third and final theory on how the Rev died. Moment of truth, and the reason why you clicked on this video. I think this is truly the reason why the Rev died. And I'll be totally honest, I think the Rev committed suicide. If you didn't see this coming or you're completely surprised, hear me out. The Rev was born with an enlarged heart, which only gets worse as you age, and he was told that he wouldn't live past 30. Now, every true Avenged Sevenfold fan should know that the last song off of Nightmare is called Fiction, and Fiction was the last song that the Rev ever wrote. Fiction is his suicide letter. As most of you know, the Rev turned Fiction in 3 days before passing, and no one knew that he wrote it until the day he died. The Rev secretly wrote Fiction and recorded all the parts completely without nobody knowing, and it was originally titled To Death, but later changed to Fiction because that was his nickname. I would also like to point out on their self-titled album, there is a song called Brompton Cocktail. It is about a man wanting to commit suicide because he has this really painful disease, and so he creates a Brompton cocktail to kill himself. If you don't already know, a Brompton cocktail is a mixture of certain drugs and alcohol. Now, autopsy said that he was found dead with a mixture of drugs and alcohol inside of him, his Brompton cocktail. Reports say that it was just a bad mixture that killed him, but this I really don't think is the case. The Rev knew way before passing that an enlarged heart would be an extremely painful death and planned on committing suicide. Him and Matt wrote Brompton Cocktail as a hint of what he would use as a suicide method, and wrote Fiction by himself, which was a suicide note. The Rev wanted to die on his own terms and not die to this extremely painful disease. The band kept this song a secret from the public because they don't want the people thinking that they were a suicidal group, and they don't want to be associated with all the other stereotypes like we discussed before. But that totally didn't happen, and people found out. If you can listen really closely, you can tell that Fiction is the Rev's suicide letter, and this is his goodbye to the world. If you want to see what I mean, then please stick around for a few days and wait for the Fiction debunking, where I go through the entire song and we go through the Rev's suicide letter. This video is coming out in a few days, so please smash that like button and subscribe down below to stay updated on this video. I'm not trying to self-promote right now, but I'm just saying if you're not subscribed, that's the only way you'll be able to stay updated. But like, please, this video is kind of getting long, and I think that you all should know. I have a huge amount of respect for the Rev and just the rest of the band, and Fiction is such a hard song to listen to. I did a reaction on that. It's extremely sad. I really don't recommend it. And I can hardly make it through that song crying. I can only imagine what the band felt when they found their best friend dead and a CD with this song on it. That must have been heartbreaking. Like, this song is your best friend's suicide letter, and then you know this is his last work and you want to put it on the album, I can only imagine what it was like recording Nightmare and trying to record that song, and I just have a great amount of respect for the band and what they did. I mean, they truly will never get over the R.E.V's death, but I'm so happy that they continued Avenged Sevenfold fan, because they were thinking about breaking up because one of their key members, the core of the band, just passed away. Well, that's all I really got for you guys today. Please, please, please subscribe. If you made it this far, you might as well give me a like. And if you're interested in seeing me debunk fiction, please comment down below, give this video a like, and subscribe. I'm also trying to get 200 subscribers by the end of 2020, so if we could make that happen, that would be incredible. You guys are great. Thank you for all the recent support on the fiction reaction and Carol of the Bells, and I hope this video does just as well. You guys are the best. Please tune in for me debunking fiction. I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.